This video was requested by Fuzzies and Night. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on my promotional notifications. I also check the calendar for education and learning. Soon I will make Try Not to Laugh challenge. Okay, let's start.
Is great for making ice cream and breathing smoke like a dragon. But what if you drank an entire glass of pure liquid nitrogen? Is it dangerous? Could it cause your body harm? First, what is liquid nitrogen? As the name implies, it's the liquid form of nitrogen gas, a colorless, odorless gas that makes up about 78% of our atmosphere. Nitrogen turns into a liquid at negative 320 degrees Fahrenheit, much colder than the 32 degrees Fahrenheit of your glass of ice water. Being so cold, there's lots of interesting things you can do with liquid nitrogen, like add a fun foggy effect to drinks or flash freezing foods. But while this stuff may look fun, liquid nitrogen is extremely dangerous if not handled correctly, especially if it's ingested. First, what happens is that the majority of liquid nitrogen evaporates in your throat and turns into gas. There's a tiny flap in your esophagus called the epiglottis that is there to stop gas from escaping out of your stomach. This traps the cold nitrogen gas, causing it to expand, which can cause burns and internal rupturing. Things only get worse as the liquid nitrogen travels down into the stomach, as happened to a young woman in the United Kingdom. The extreme cold of the liquid nitrogen can burn holes in your stomach and destroy the stomach lining. The damage to hers was so bad that her entire stomach needed to be removed. If not treated immediately, this damage to the stomach and esophagus could even lead to death. So while liquid nitrogen may be useful for cooking and fun for party tricks, please do not drink it, because it won't be fun for very long. We've all fantasized about it, winning the lottery, getting a huge sum of money and putting all of your troubles behind you. But does winning the lottery pay off? Does it make you happier in the long run? With the largest jackpots being in the hundreds of millions or even over $1 billion, there's no doubt that winning would change your life. But what many lottery winners have found is that it didn't change their life for the better. Over 70% of lottery winners end up right back where they were, broke. Here's a few ways that things could go bad for you if you won the lottery. The easiest mistake to make is simply not planning for the future. Millions of dollars might sound like a lot of money, but there isn't an infinite supply, and it won't last forever if you don't have a plan. Getting an experienced and trusted financial advisor who knows how to handle large sums of money will help ensure that it's there for years to come. Another common problem is spending too much. Everyone, even millionaires, have to live within their means. Fast cars, big houses, fancy vacations. It all sounds great, but it can add up fast. Spend without limits, and you won't be going on those amazing trips for very long. But maybe the hardest issue to tackle is dealing with your friends and family. It's natural to want to share what we have, helping out our friends and sharing the wealth with our loved ones. Many lottery winners have talked about how hard it was to say no to all the people who came to them after they won seeking help. And many of those lottery winners couldn't say no, even as they gave away everything they had. While there's plenty you can do to help your chances of staying rich after winning the lottery, like laying out a smart financial plan from the get-go, being responsible with your purchasing decisions, and staying strong when it comes to those looking for a handout, the odds are still stacked against you, and more likely than not, after all is said and done, you'll end up right back where you started. Whether it's a jalapeno, a serrano, or even the infamous ghost pepper, we all have a heat threshold or level of spiciness that we can tolerate. But can anyone handle the Carolina Reaper? And what would happen if you ate it? The Carolina Reaper, a hybrid pepper specifically bred to be as hot as possible, is the current record holder for hottest pepper in the world. The Scoville heat scale is used to measure the spiciness of peppers. To put things in perspective, a jalapeno comes in at around 8,000 units. A habanero is a blistering 350,000 units, while a Carolina Reaper tops the scale at a whopping 2.2 million units. So what happens when you eat a pepper this spicy? First, the high concentration of capsaicin, the chemical that causes the spiciness in peppers binds to a nerve receptor in your mouth. This triggers an intense and extremely painful burning sensation. Obviously, there's no actual heat emanating from the pepper, but your brain is tricked into thinking that your mouth is on fire and that you're burning up. And since the brain believes you're overheating, it immediately takes corrective action to flush out the toxin. You'll experience extreme sweating, accompanied by crying eyes and a runny nose. You might think it would get better once you start to digest the pepper, but you'd be wrong. The pepper continues to wreak havoc on your insides, resulting in severe pain and nausea that can last for up to 8 hours. And while it won't kill you or cause any permanent damage, there's not much you can do at that point but suffer and wait it out. Keep in mind, you can alleviate some of the painful burning in your mouth by drinking milk, which contains casein, a protein that neutralizes the pepper's capsaicin. So think long and hard before biting into one of those super spicy peppers. This bear is just gonna have to stick to bell peppers for now. Spiders are all around us. There are over 35,000 different species, and one study of homes in South Carolina found spiders present in 100% of them. Most spiders do not pose a threat to humans and are actually quite helpful in keeping populations of other bugs in check. However, there are some species whose bites and venom can be extremely dangerous. There is a common misconception that the daddy longlegs is the most venomous spider, but that their fangs can't pierce human skin. In truth, daddy longlegs do occasionally bite people. However, their venom will produce a mild irritation at worst. According to scientists, the most venomous spider on the planet today is actually the Brazilian wandering spider, which got its name because it roams the forest floor looking for prey. A single bite from one of these spiders and you will instantly feel pain. Immediate symptoms include inflammation of the skin with severe burning and redness, goosebumps, and sweating. Their venom is strong enough to quickly kill bugs, birds, small rodents, and even young children. But in adults, the venom generally takes longer to work. As it courses through the bloodstream, further symptoms like blurred vision, nausea, erratic heartbeats, chills, and uncontrollable shaking can of a strange side effect in men where it can make your you-know-what painfully swell and cause permanent damage. While the symptoms are very unpleasant, actual deaths from Brazilian wandering spider bites are rare. Out of the more than 7,000 bites that have been reported, there are only 10 deaths that have been attributed to the Brazilian wandering spider. That said, medical treatment is still required so that an antivenom can be administered. And while Brazilian wandering spiders are only native to South America, there have been news stories of them traveling along with banana shipments to other countries. So the next time you're picking out fruit at the grocery store, you may want to be extra careful. Despite strong warnings from the U.S. State Department about the dangers of visiting North Korea, the East